Good day or good evening, beautiful Soul Spark community. Welcome to this beautiful new interview with Brian Benson. And Brian, it's a really special guest because Brian is a poet and wrote 5 books and used his voice to for his YouTube channel. He's an actor as well and a TEDx speaker. So I think this interview is really much of your interest because we are all about voicing our authenticity. And I think Brian is a beautiful example. I say beautiful a lot because it is beautiful. It's a beautiful example of a person who's dedicated to expression and to writing and art and his voice. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you, Lucia. I appreciate the kind words. It's wonderful to be here. And yeah.
Nice to meet you, Brian. Where are you from? And well, how would you describe your soul spark? What sparks your soul?
Oh gosh. Well, I'm originally from Salem, Oregon, but I've lived in a bunch of different places. Oh gosh. I just ever since I think when I was 3 years old, I told my mom that I was put here to inspire people, and she reminded me right during the process of when I was leaving my family business about 17 years ago, and I was kind of accidentally came into writing my first book and just as I was working on myself. And so she reminded me, it's like, whoa, okay. And then I just really kind of just went full in on trying to become the best version of myself. And as I was doing different things to do that, whether it was a community college speech class to overcome my fear of speaking or an acting class just to be more comfortable in front of people, I felt ultimately I was supposed to do some of these things on a bigger scale. And so I was just preparing myself. And as I was preparing myself, it was very scary. I had to step out of my comfort zone a lot, but it felt alive, right? I felt alive, and one thing led to another, and more opportunities came, and I just kind of kept saying yes, even though it was scary. And I just kind of kept learning and growing. And just riding the roller coaster of life as I was discovering some creative abilities that I didn't know I had inside of me.
Oh, which were those and how did you discover them?
Well, you know, the writing kind of just happened a little bit accidentally, although I had a little glimmer of maybe what was to come in college. I had to take a creative writing class as an elective, and I had never really prepared to be a writer or what have you, but we were there twice a week at 2 hours a night, twice a week. We had to do all of our work in class, and it really was fun and exciting, and got an A plus and just kind of surprised me. So that was a little bit of foreshadowing, but as I was leaving my family business, my first book was just a whole bunch of different ways to stay in life balance, and I kind of tried to do it in a fun way. And as I was working on learning how to stay in balance myself. So I self-published it, and it won a couple of awards, which shocked me, but it just pointed me in this whole new direction. And so, like I had mentioned a second ago, some of the things I did to overcome my fear of speaking. I took an acting class with no plans on acting, but when it was over, I had a dream come to me about this street guitarist story. And when I woke up, I go, I have to write this down. So I did, and I met a young filmmaker a couple days later and said, hey, I've never really acted before. I don't know how to make a short film, but I have a good idea. You want to do it with me? He said, sure. So we made Guitar Man. It's like 8.5 minutes, and we made it on the streets of Reno, Nevada at night. And it just really woke me up to like being able to possibly create positive content in a different way other than just writing. And so that film did really well at film festivals. Somebody saw it and gave me the lead in their short film. And the female lead, she's almost 90 now, and she's from LA and she's been in a lot of stuff. They flew her to Reno to make the short, and we just kept in touch. And eventually, I kind of felt like I was supposed to move to LA. She had a studio attached to her house, so I lived there for the first 2.5 years as I just dove into acting classes, with people that I recognized from TV shows. And it was very scary, but I kept progressing and gained confidence. And And that probably just led to more things, whether it was creating my own short films, more short films, the TEDx, books, children's books, self-improvement books, spoken word poems. I feel like I'm missing some stuff here, but it
YouTube
just
channel.
YouTube channel. Yeah, I just kept gaining momentum and confidence, and I just kept, you know, experimenting and see where it would lead.
Wow. So it sounds like you gave yourself permission, and through experiences, connections, people, fun, seems like fun. Let's make a movie.
Yeah, it really, there's nothing better than being on a movie set. It's really interesting. And it's just kind of a united group of people all working toward the same thing, even though we all
Mm,
have different jobs. But I really
mm.
gained a lot of confidence. I think looking back, I had to kind of take a break from stuff. I got cancer right at the beginning of COVID, and it kind of got me off the hamster wheel. But looking back, I think I'm proud of everything that I did, but I was also using a lot of what I was doing as a validation tool because I wasn't feeling like I was enough. And so maybe
Mm.
these things that I accomplished were ways that I could feel good about myself rather than just, kind of have it sit within me no matter what I did. And so, everything's a learning experience, right?
Yeah, wow. It's so well recognizable that you have gained a lot of success, and still there's something that you kind of have to like clean up or
Always.
yes. So and cancer brought you that moment. Did I understand well?
Yeah, it definitely helped in my own, self-growth and self-awareness experience for sure. Yeah, it just gave me a moment to relax and not really feel like I needed to push because I was
Mm.
creating a lot and I was trying to do a lot in so many different ways and it was tiring, it was exciting, but I also I think I got burnt out a little bit trying to do too much. And so in some ways it was very peaceful to be able to have an excuse to be able to rest and relax. And during those periods, I just, was thinking and just kind of trying to observe myself. I've always tried to be the observer in my own experience, and I realized that I was using stuff as a validation tool. And so it's just a process of finding that self-acceptance and self-worthiness from within, right? Without searching for it in a relationship or in a job or what have you. We all do it. I mean, I think as humans, spiritual beings having human experience, I think learning how to love and accept ourselves is probably the toughest thing to do.
Yeah, and I can so understand if you work in LA, that the whole scene is a little bit like from the more about presentation and about presence, I guess. And
It's very unrealistic, yes.
yeah, so did I understand well that like the cancer kind of like gave you permission to go inside, and then you saw all those things that you're like, ooh,
Yeah, yeah. And it's not like I just didn't I still felt like my mission was to try to continue to be the best version of myself, but also to eventually hopefully share in a bigger way. And so I just that was the beginning of really taking a closer look at my own self-acceptance. And then yeah, and then last year I had another health experience. It was like, what the heck? I've always been a healthy guy too. I used to race in triathlons, but I needed to have an open heart surgery. And that experience, there's many things I learned from it, but I think one of the things was it helped me learn how to receive better because I've always kind of been a giver and just having to kind of set everything aside again, 4 years later and just surrender and relax into what was happening. Um, there was a lot of blessings from it. Unfortunately, my younger brother passed away 3 weeks after my surgery, but between that grief and I think my surgery and having my heart open, literally opened my heart and helped me release so much stuff that I've been holding on to for a long time, and that really helped. So It always seems like the toughest experiences are many times our greatest teachers, or at least for me.
Yeah. And I read a poem about this period. Would you like to share it with us? Because I think it's beautiful.
Sure. Thank you. The beautifully broken open, or there's beauty in the dark, whichever you prefer.
Yeah, I think it's breaking open. Like the other one is
Okay.
more like this is more raw, right? The first one is raw, and the second one that I liked was like more like as a positive note to leave, right?
Yes. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yes, yes. Okay. This is called Beautifully Broken Open. Thank you. Darkened skies cloud my soul as I look within for more. A frantic yearn to become whole suspends my heart, left sore. Feeling stuck, unsure, ajar, my planned escape runs foul. Frozen like a nasty scar, I shout a silent howl. I dream of blue and sunlit grace to lift my tone quite grand, knowing it's my destined place and where I want to stand. It holds me fast, this light within. It wants to shine so bright. How to breach this veil so thin? I long for truthful sight. Surrender now, a whisper shared. You've everything you need. Just breathe deep and don't be scared, and trust will take the lead. Ground your spirit in truth and love, and moments that are real. Then view your light shine high above, and your heart begin to heal.
Mm, wow. Yeah, so all that beauty came from those what
Tough times.
when we what we would label as tough, but also beauty sprout from it.
It's so interesting. Those two, the cancer experience and open heart surgery experience, in some ways, I've never felt kind of more at peace. It's just so interesting. I think just because I am kind of very motivated, and it's an opportunity just to really go within and not feel like I have to continue to create and you know what I mean? It was just, yeah,
Give,
yeah,
give, like the giving pattern,
yeah,
and then it's like, well, now
yes.
I do, yeah, and now I do have to like take care of me because you want to heal. Did you heal?
Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm kind of back to normal. It wasn't like I had clogged arteries or anything. After a lot of days of testing, they found I had a little congenital hole that needed to be patched, as well as a new mitral valve. So that's what they did, and it's been about a year and a half now. And yeah, I'm pretty much back to normal.
Hmm. So, Brian, authentically feeling and being authentic, how would you do, what words would you give to that?
Mm. Well, I think, it's just there's so many aspects to authenticity, I suppose, but it's really just being honest with ourselves and just really just living life and try to really consciously observe what we're going through. Just trusting in the process. I think just to live authentically is just to try to be the best version of yourself, right? And continue to make those little tweaks that make us a better person for ourselves and for other people. Um, just honesty, curiosity. Luckily, I'm a very curious person. When I was young, my mom said the only word I ever said was why. And so I've always been really curious about becoming the best version of myself. So that just kind of dictates how I live and how I set my day up, whether it's trying to do all that I know that I need to do to stay in balance and grounded, whether it's food, movement, exercise, meditation. Um, those things that kind of, we all, life is a roller coaster and we're going to have difficult times, but I have found implementing some of those things makes those difficult times a little bit easier and helps us maybe just, I don't know, just be more, just have more grace and through the process.
What I hear, it's so beautiful. It's like, beautiful, that word comes through. Uh, like you say, when I was a kid, like there's the wisdom of the kid, like why, and a curiosity. I can so relate to that because the curiosity makes your brain unstuck, right? Like if we're like stuck and we don't know how to feel, yeah, what would you tell to somebody that's listening now that like is like maybe little stuck? Like what spark would you give?
Well, we all get stuff from time to time, and I guess the most important thing to kind of remember is that things will change, energies will change, things will get a little easier for us, right? And to not maybe overthink those difficult times. I mean, that doesn't mean that difficult times aren't difficult. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes we need money, sometimes we're healing from a whatever, or a relationship. They're difficult. But just do those little things just to kind of raise your spirit if you can, the movement, go for a walk, get out in nature. Food makes such a difference in how we feel, really pay attention to what you're putting into your body because your energy will be different if you eat a little bit healthier. Um, just try to do those little things just to get the ball rolling and just take a baby step. And pretty soon a baby step will become a little bit bigger step, and then there'll be a little bit more confidence, in that third step. And ultimately you'll start to trust yourself more, I think. At least I have. And just with that comes self-acceptance and self-worth.
Yeah. So while we're in movement in nature, busy with food, cooking, eating it,
Positive people,
positive people.
positive content. It's so easy to get waylaid with what's on the news, and there's a lot of tough stuff happening right now. Don't get me wrong, I am not painting it over, but we, can eliminate some of that and just fill our lives up with more high vibrational content.
Is that also why you started your YouTube channel and wrote the children's books?
You know, everything I've done, it's hard to explain. It's like I've just had an idea and I just follow my intuition. Like I just know if like it's a hell yeah, you know what I mean? So it's just like it doesn't always make sense or isn't always necessarily in order, but yeah, I just the YouTube channel, it had been going for a while, but I tweaked it a little bit and started doing some new videos where I read my pieces, then I'll discuss them a little bit. For a long time, I had trouble owning that I did poetry, and I don't ask me why. It was just a little scary for me. Um, but I just feel like I'm a channel with what I write and create, and I want to share it. And so it was just part of it. The YouTube channel was just me owning it and just really like stepping into it and saying, okay, I can do this, and I feel like some of this stuff might be able to help some people because it kind of helps me and it, you know, yeah.
Can you share what the title is of your YouTube channel?
Yeah. It's my name, G. Brian Benson. That's what the old one was. But then I also included the friendly words. And so kind of I have a friendly words newsletter and the friendly words YouTube channel where I'll share pieces that I've written or I'll make little short films out of voiceovers of some of my poems with animation or pictures and stuff to go behind them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this actually rises up a question for me, like intuition. Like you say, "Ooh, my intuition comes up," and then I feel a hell yes. But how do you combine that with money and making a profit?
Well, that's a great question, and we're still working on that. But uh, I just really believe in what I'm supposed to do, and I'm just kind of just I don't know. I'm a good manifester, and stuff's come in kind of when I needed it, and I'm kind of living frugally a little bit, as I continue to create and share. Yeah.
but it works out, I guess.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you would not sit here.
yeah, part-time job here, make a little bit of money from a book here and a speaking engagement, you name it, it just kind of all comes together.
That's up. And meanwhile, you are doing what your heart and intuition says it wants to do, and what you wanted to do when you were 3 years old. That's such a nice story.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I kind of forgot about it as I was living life until I was reminded by my mom, but it made sense with, some of the things that I had done and just that book that just kind of came through me. And I was just like given this opportunity to just like, okay, really step into it. But for me, the most important part is just I have, grown so much through the journey, myself, just with overcoming um, my own insecurities and fear of speaking and
Can you
yeah.
share a little bit about that fear of speaking? I think a lot of people have that.
Yeah, I think I think there's probably many different reasons why, and sometimes for me it might be different for somebody else, but I don't know, for some reason, for somewhere along the line when I was younger, I was, minimized or squashed or something, and it kind of kept me. It wasn't like I was really introverted because I'm kind of an outgoing introvert and I had friends and I do my thing, but yet when it came to like time to speak, like I used to go to this weekly chamber thing from a business that I was running prior to doing what I'm doing now. And they passed the microphone around and I'd get it and I would just be terrified just to say my name and what I was doing. What the heck, right? And so, yeah, I was just given this opportunity to really kind of like overcome that. And I knew I was supposed to. I just felt like, and acting in LA was an amazing opportunity to learn and grow and be in front of a camera and that helped me too. I don't know. Yeah, I did some crazy things early on. One of the other things I did was create an interactive workshop based around my first book, feeling like, oh, it's interactive. I won't have to speak as much, right? But it turned out it worked really well because it included everybody and it was different for me every time I gave it. So after I put it together, I my very first try was in front of five of my friends, and we did it, and they liked it. So all right, cool. So I got on the phone and I got the map out, and I put this 6 state tour together, like Reno and Utah and Colorado, and New Mexico and Arizona and California, and I just started calling places. And in 2 weeks, I had 15 stops set up at bookstores or centers for spiritual living. You name it. And it's like, what are you doing, Brian? But the very first place was this little tiny farming town in Delta, Utah. It was like a 9-hour drive across the Nevada desert to get to it. And when I was setting it up, I called them, the Chamber of Commerce, and said, "Do you have any bookstores?" And they said, "No, we're a small town. What are you wanting to do?" And I told her, maybe have a little workshop and try to sell some books. I said, "Well, how would you like to speak at our monthly chamber luncheon?" And I just gulped and said yes. And so that was my second time I ever did it, and in front of like 10 farmers in the back room of a Mexican restaurant, and they were all really nice, but they're trying to eat while I'm trying to do this interactive workshop, and it's like, whew, it was it was a rough trip. There's some places nobody showed up, other places one or two, but I just did it, and
Very
yeah,
courageous and adventurous. Lots of
I think I
traveling.
said,
That's nice.
yeah, I think it was like maybe a 21 day thing, and I think I sold 20 books altogether. Uh, but it's just all part of the process.
Wow. And what's your next book about?
Well, I have the title I'm still working on. I think the subtitle is Poems and Essays for an Awakening World, but it's a poem and essay book, and it's pretty much done. And I'm in talks with a couple of different places, and maybe about doing it for me. And then I have two more kids' books with Blyden Square Topia is the name of the publishing company, and one of them's being illustrated right now, and it's pretty cool because my first two, I found an illustrator named Paul Hernandez in the LA area. It was great, and we worked really well together. And he did my first two books, and he was doing some work for this new publisher, and he told me about him. And they said, "Hey, Brian, sent some stuff in," and so I did. And so those will probably be coming out next year sometime.
Wow, congratulations. Very productive.
Thank you. You know, I have so much content, it's not even funny. Yeah, I've got a lot more kid stories ready to go. I've got just a lot of stuff. I'm just kind of, I'm just trying to manifest someone to help me kind of strategize and maybe like angel invest or go into business. I mean, there's so many different ways that I really feel like I would like to, share, whether it's the podcast I do, the creative spark, or, just lots of things. Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Would you like to go more the children's direction, like the or the?
A little bit of yeah, a little bit of everything. I think the kids thing is just like one of the tentacles, if we're, you know what I mean, or branches. I think it's more probably just working with adults and just, you know, I don't really ever try to tell anybody what to do, but I've been through pretty much everything myself. And just to try and share my experiences and share the words that come through me, just to make people maybe think a little bit or look within and just almost give people permission that it's okay, you know what I mean, to look in a little closer or to step out of your comfort zone or to experiment with what maybe a creative joy might be for them. Because I've done all that, and there's so much gold in that, in just working through and working on all that stuff.
Yes. Yes, and I think a lot of people need a little bit more permission to take time for themselves, but also to be creative, right? Because we're all, I think a lot of us are trying, running and yeah, performing. So you have
Yeah.
one last poem that I loved. Would you like to share that with us?
Sure. Is that the come on down?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. I forgot the titles.
It's all good. All right. Yeah, this one, it's so interesting. When I started writing poems, maybe almost 15 years ago, they would just kind of come through me and go, whoa. And I would go, this is going to help so many people. But then a couple of years later, as I'm learning and growing, I'm reading, I was like, you ding dong, these are for you first, and so everything, I needed to read my stuff over and over at times just to kind of, as I learn and grow. But this is called Come On Down. Come on down, it's time to shine and leave your fears at bay. They aren't real, illusions, guise. It's time you shared your say. Come on down, it's time to be present in life's grand flow, centered, balanced, trusting thought, intuits, guiding know. Come on down, it's time to share your gifts, your life, your core. Sublime march, unique to you, which opens faithful door. Come on down, it's time to trust, Spirit's inspired plan, gentle nudges of support, firm foundation to stand. Come on down, it's time to feel. Free your heart, mind, and soul. Release the pain and taste the joy of playing your true role. Come on down, it's time to love. Life, yourself, your story, your truth, complete and whole, birthing perfect glory. And come on down, it's time to live. It surges inside you. Your hopes and dreams want to breathe and shine their colored hue.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think that that poem really sparked.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I like a lot of times with poems, it's to feel and to sit it a little bit in it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all have gifts inside ourselves, right? And they all come in all kinds of different shapes and forms. And I just want more people to experience them, and be able to share them. And yeah, not be afraid to take a closer look.
Yeah, so Soul Sparkers, if you hear this, share your poems. We would love to hear them. And I want to thank you so much, Brian, for sharing your art and your authenticity and the beauty that sparks from you.
Ah, it's my pleasure. Thank you, Lucia, for having me.
My pleasure too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye for now.